Welcome to one of the great scenes in college football, Doak Campbell Stadium here in Tallahassee. The annual clash between Florida State and Florida. It's a series that has been dominated by the Gators. But Florida has been particularly dominant since Urban Meyer arrived in Gainesville. They've won 6 in a row, 5 times under Urban Meyer by an average of over 20 points per game. Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Wischusen alongside Brian Greasy. Thanks for joining us today. What better spot could you be in than Florida State, Thanksgiving weekend here in Tallahassee? A perfect day for football and a game of monumental importance, particularly to Florida State.
Certainly is. And could this be the year that Florida State breaks that 6-game losing streak? The anticipation in Tallahassee with their new football coach, Jimbo Fisher, the way that he's led this team, and their opportunity really to take over the state of Florida from a recruiting standpoint and win the state championship today. I guarantee you that there's nobody in this stadium or on that sideline for Florida State that's thinking about Maryland and NC State game today.
And Florida State has a chance for the first time since 1999 to win the state championship, having already beaten Miami earlier this year.
Certainly do, and it's big in recruiting. In this state, such a fertile recruiting ground. For Florida State to turn the tide on Florida in a game like this where they have 100 recruits in town, it's huge. Make no mistake about it.
If you were a recruit and you were on the sideline and you got a chance to experience a scene like the one we're experiencing here, how could you not say yes to that scholarship offer? Interruption before the Noles take the field to welcome the Gators. And now Osceola and Renegade set to bring out the Noles. Looks like Jimbo Fisher wants the seniors up front. Here come the Noles. Florida won the toss, deferring their option to the second half. So Florida State and the senior Christian Ponder will have his first crack at it. A win over Florida for Florida State would give the Noles their first 9-win regular season since 2003. That's the last time they beat Florida. What an accomplishment that would be for Jimbo Fisher in year 1 if he could get it. Line drive kick to Greg Reed. And a pretty good return out close to the 34-yard line. And Christian Ponder, the senior, his yardage might be down from last season, but the injuries that have mounted throughout the year have raised his stock in terms of courage in the eyes of Jimbo Fisher and the coaching staff, to a point that I don't remember a coach talking, Brian, to us about a quarterback in more glowing terms as a kid than Jimbo Fisher did with Christian.
Yeah, he said his toughness is unprecedented. Played through the shoulder injury, burst a sack that burst in his elbow, had 500 cc's of fluid taken off his elbow after the Carolina game. He has just been everything for Florida State.
Quick hitch to Easterling on 1st and 5, and Easterling has a first down as we take a look at our impact players.
You're going to see the halfback, Chris Thompson. He's the home run hitter for this Florida State offense. He's got 3 touchdown rushes of over 70 yards. And when they throw the football, look for Willie Halstead. He's only a sophomore, but Jimbo Fisher says he's got a chance to be a good player. And Ahmad Black, the unquestioned leader for this Florida defense, is making his 38th start today.
They run the option with the pitch to Thompson. And he is strung out, maybe picked up a yard. Janoris Jenkins did a good job to bring him down.
You'll see Christian Ponder run a little bit of the option. They say 8 or 10 times a game they want him to use his feet. He's got good speed, runs a 4.7. He's smart with the football. He certainly can throw the ball, but they want to use all of the talents that Christian Ponder possesses, and one of those is run the option.
Actually lost a yard. 2nd down and 11. Five-man rush. Ponder slips it to the perimeter to Burt Reed. With a cutback, Reed's got a 1st down. And a flag comes out late. It looked like Reed may have been hit up by the face mask. This could be an extra 15 against the Gators. It's a gain of 16 as it stands now. This could be a big play and put Florida State in the red zone.
Personal foul. Rest in the face mask. Number 35. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Well, Burt Reed is trying to get some extra yardage. Makes a nice cut. Looked like got the hand. Ahmad Black got the hand on top of the helmet, but Reed runs just a stop route, and Moses Jenkins, number 36 for Florida, falls down on the route twice and allows Burt Reed to get a big 1st down and a penalty.
They didn't get him on the face mask, but it's a 1st down to the 22. Ponder, the quick slant, dropped. Looking for Lonnie Pryor inside. Ahmad Black, who might be the best player for this Florida defense, came up and broke it up.
Yeah, Ahmad Black has just made play after play for this Florida defense, and you see him jump the slant route, just a quick inside. He's able to not make the interception, but get there in time to knock that football away. Ahmad Black's had 96 tackles on the year for Florida. That's 32 more tackles than the next highest guy on that defense. He is making plays all over the field.
Trap handoff to Pryor. A couple of yards. Justin Truteau, first man there for the Gators. It'll be 3rd down and close to 8 yards.
Ponder took a big hit from Ahmad Black at the end of this play, handed the football off. You're going to see a Black come through there and just unloads on Christian Ponder. I'm surprised the officials missed that. Normally the referee is keying in solely on the quarterback. That would have been a penalty.
Florida State best in the ACC on 3rd down. This is 3rd down and a long 7, close to 8. Here comes the blitz. Ponder well protected up the seam, and it's tipped and incomplete. Will Hill was able to knock it away from Bo Relaford.
Yeah, and Ponder had Relaford open. The ball just sails a little bit on him. You're going to see Relaford right in the middle of the screen coming down the pipe. If that ball was a foot lower, it would have been a touchdown. As it was, Relaford did a good job just to get a hand on the ball to prevent the interception.
38-yard field goal attempt for Dustin Hopkins, 16 for 22 so far this year. And the Noles are on the board. Too often, though, in this game, Florida State has driven the ball and settled for field goals. They settled for a field goal on their opening possession. So the Gators are about to get the football down only 3. Dustin Hopkins with a line drive that'll bounce right to Andre DeBose. Blockers out in front. Andre DeBose finds a seam. DeBose turns it on. Out of bounds at the Noles 32-yard line.
And that's got to make Urban Meyer happy. This is something they need to kickstart their offense and their team. And DuBose took one back for a touchdown on the first kick against South Carolina. Didn't quite get there this time, but sets up this much maligned Florida offense in great position.
They're going to start with Trey Burton at quarterback. Burton on a keeper to the 30-yard line. Picked up a couple of yards. John Brantley, of course, on the field as well. They've got a variety of ways they can go at quarterback for the Gators.
You're going to see all three quarterbacks, Brantley, Jordan Reed, who is the starting tight end, will play some, and then Burton, who took that snap. All three of them will play considerably behind center today.
Now it's Brantley. Lines up in the shotgun. We'll give it to Rainey. Rainey right up the middle. And he's got a first down inside the 20 down to the Noles 19-yard line.
Well, you're going to see John Brantley. He's the one that's going to throw mostly today for the Florida offense. And he's had his struggles this year. A lot has been said about whether he fits into this offense of Urban Meyer and the Florida Gators. He's not the Tim Tebow type, doesn't run as well. And he has struggled this year.
A little hitch to Rainey. That's an incomplete pass. Urban Meyer in his 6th year, struggling as much this year, obviously, as he ever has at Florida. The first coach of the SEC to ever win 2 outright national titles. A 3-time National Coach of the Year. But he loses Tim Tebow, and John Brantley has not been able to replace Tebow in any way, shape, or form. Back to Burton at quarterback now. He hands, and there's nothing there. A loss of a couple of yards back to about the 20-yard line for Chris Rainey. Marcus White came up and made the stop, along with Kendall Smith.
And it certainly has been hard to replace Tim Tebow, and I don't think that anybody had any expectations that that he would be replaced. But the Florida Gators came into the season wanting to throw the football a little bit more with Brantley and run it out of traditional sets, and that offense didn't work for them, and that's when they had to change up and go to this 3-quarterback kind of hybrid to try to manufacture offense.
3rd down and a long 11, close to 12. Four-man rush. Brantley finds a man wide open at the 10-yard line, walking into the end zone with a touchdown is Robert Clark. The Gators answer. Andre DeBose with the big kickoff return and a 3rd down and 11 touchdown pass from Brantley to Robert Clark.
The Gators may be down this year, but they have plenty of weapons, and true freshman Robert Clark scores first.
John Brantley with only his 3rd touchdown pass in the last 7+ games for the Gators, but it gives them the 7-3 lead. We haven't even played 5 minutes of the first quarter of this rivalry game, and already plenty of fireworks. Now can the Noles answer? Greg Reed to the 15. Bumped out at the 25. Noles back to the ground, and Thompson tries to bounce it outside, caught from behind, loses at least 3 yards. Jay Howard pursued him with the edge set.
Florida State comes into this football game really wanting to establish a line of scrimmage and run the football. They're averaging 183 yards on the ground per game this season, and Florida is not as dominant as they once were on their front 7, especially stopping the run. The strength of this Florida defense is in the secondary. Florida State wants to attack them up front.
Play action for Ponder. Slings it to the sideline. First down catch to the 40-yard line to Taiwan Easterling. He's got at least 1 catch in 22 straight games. A gain of 12.
This is what experience will do for you as a quarterback. The timing of this throw, that ball is out of Christian Ponder's hands before Easterling comes out of his break. So when he comes out, that ball is already halfway to him, thrown perfectly on the sideline, and a nice catch by Easterling.
Play action for Christian Ponder. Watch the home run. It's a jump ball down the sideline. Almost intercepted. Moses Jenkins with great position on Rodney Smith. We talked about the giveaways, at least traditionally, how low they have been for Florida. Not the case this year, though. In their 4 losses, they are -8 in the turnover ratio.
Yeah, and that tells the story better than any other stat that you can look at. And you can talk about offense and defense and special teams, but if you turn the football over, especially in the SEC, you are not going to win.
So we're going to play one untimed down here to end the first quarter. Ponder lofts it down the sideline. Smith, jump ball, incomplete. Moses Jenkins underneath. Ahmad Black came over the top, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. It'll be 3rd down and long for Florida State when we come back. They trail the Gators 7-3. We have a great Dr. Pepper rivalry recap for you here in Tallahassee. Florida, pretty dominant all-time in the series, and certainly having won the last 6 in a row.
Yeah, in Florida State, there's a lot of buzz in Tallahassee about maybe this is the year, the opportunity to break that streak.
Four-man rush on 3rd down and long. Ponder wants to set the screen up to Thompson. Nowhere to go. A lot of white, orange, and blue out there, led by Justin Tretteau and Ahmad Black. And now it's 4th down at the 40.
Well, you mentioned there's a lot of team speed on this Florida defense. Watch them rally to the ball after they diagnose screen. You're going to have 8 white jerseys around the football, and Chris Thompson does as much as he possibly can. But despite the fact that they lost a lot of talent on defense, they still have had top 5 recruiting classes and have a lot of talent on defense.
Another pooch punt that rolls down inside the 10-yard line. Sean Powell gets the job done again. Well, it was November 29th, 2003 at Florida. That's the last time that FSU won this rivalry game. 55 seconds to go in the game. FSU trailing by 3, 34-31. They convert a 4th and 14 to keep the drive alive. And then Chris Ricks to PK Sam. 52-yard game-winning touchdown. And FSU would win it 38-34. And it got ugly after that game as well, with those Florida State players walking around with the gator head.
Is that the real gator head, or what was that?
It looked real enough to me.
It did look real. It didn't look like a prop.
Now, I'm from New Jersey. It looked as real as I needed to look. Trey Burton up the middle for about 3. Or check that, Chris Rainey up the middle for about 3.
You know, it hadn't been very good field position for Florida. Their last drive started inside their 10-yard line, and once again on this drive, and they've got to be smart. This game could come down to 2 defenses that play well enough against offenses that have struggled, and field position could play a big factor. So first downs in this area of the field are huge.
Jordan Reed now lines up at tight end. As Burton runs the belly option, gives it to Rainey, and Rainey squeezes out to about the 14, maybe the 15-yard line. DeMonte McAllister on the stop for Florida State, so it will be 3rd down and about 2.5.
Well, you get the feeling early in this game that Urban Meyer wants to use the traditional offense of Florida with the zone read, and Trey Burton is the one that operates it the best for him. He wants to be in these situations. 3rd and 1, 2, 3 yards. He feels very good about their chances.
Play clock down to 10. All 3 quarterbacks are in the huddle. Play clock down to 6. Brantley gets them set, takes the snap on 3rd and short, swings it right, caught by Rainey. Lost the football again. Another fumble recovery for Xavier Rhodes.
especially in rivalry games. You just don't want to lose the game in the first quarter. You're not going to win in the first game in the first quarter. Just don't lose it. And 2 turnovers early for Florida, certainly putting them behind the 8 ball. Rainey just tried to made a great move on the defensive back, Greg Reed, but didn't secure the football.
Didn't look like Reed knocked it out. As Rainey made that move, he just lost control of the ball. Thompson stays on his feet down to the 10-yard line. We approach 3 minutes gone by in the second quarter of a great rivalry game between Florida and Florida State. Florida playing all 3 of their quarterbacks in the first half. They've turned it over a couple of times, although John Brantley was able to find Robert Clark for a touchdown to give the Gators the lead. A couple of fumble recoveries for Florida State. They couldn't do anything with the last turnover. They try again now. Second down and about 2.5 from the 10. Lonnie Pryor up the middle. Touchdown, Florida State. Knowles.
It's great to see the fullback get a little bit of love. Jimbo Fisher calls Lonnie Pryor his glue guy.
Finally, in a Florida State-Florida game, the Noles get a touchdown in the red zone. They've been very good this season in the red zone, but historically, at least during the 6-game losing streak, they have kicked a lot of field goals. That time they get the 7, and they take the 10-7 lead. Papa Shoes and Brian Greasy with you here in Tallahassee. An electric atmosphere. Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium. Andre DeBose inside the 2. Andre DeBose, oh, he just about got loose. A flag down at the 30-yard line as well. Cut down by Greg Dent. This time Reed will throw it, slings it down the sideline. Jump ball broken up by Reed. Perfect position by Greg Reed in front of Carl Moore. And Greg Reed comes up holding his side.
They had good position. Just a jump ball on the outside, and Reed was in perfect position. Looks like he just came down, may have got the wind knocked out of him, came down on his ribs, but good position, good coverage. Greg Reed has got all the skills in the world, and Mark Stoops was talking with us this week. He's just got to be more disciplined in his fundamentals and structure. He can be a great player.
Quarterback draw. Reed right up the gut once again. And he picked up nearly 10 yards. It'll still set up 3rd down and 5. Jordan Reed, only a redshirt freshman from New London, Connecticut, which I have to figure is a quarterback factory. Recruiting rich New London, Connecticut, if you're looking for quarterbacks in Gainesville. There's no stone unturned. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns this season, 3rd best for the Gators, but now on 3rd down and long, they go back to Brantley. Throws the slant right at the 1st down marker, and it's dropped. Frankie Hammond had it in his hands, but took a pop from behind from Michael Harris and coughed it up.
Well, and everybody wants to get on John Brantley this year, but he has had inconsistent play from the wide receiver position, and Frankie Hammond's had that ball right in his chest, right at the 1st down marker, and couldn't bring it in. It hasn't been one person on this offense. It's been every phase of offensive football that has struggled this year, and just so happens that the quarterback takes a lot of heat.
Fake punt. Chaz Henry looks for a 1st down, doesn't get it. The Gators take a chance in their own end. Ochuko Jenajay came up, read the fake punt by Chaz Henry and brought him down a yard shy, and the Gators turn it over on downs.
You see, he's going to have 2 blockers out in front. Watch number 3 for Florida State, Justin Bright. A backup safety comes in and gets a big hit, and Jenajay is there as well. Urban Meyer feeling like he has to generate some momentum and generate some offense, and comes back to bite him.
Ponder lobs it down the sideline. Rodney Smith's got a step. Touchdown. Has it been since the Noles have had the Gators on the ropes? Well, they've got them on the ropes here in the first half.
The last two plays changed the course of this game. Could they have changed the weight, the balance in the state of Florida?
It's been a while since the Noles put some rings into that trophy case. And they're on the verge of the first time since 1999 of possibly winning the Florida State Championship. They beat Miami earlier this year. In the 5 years that they have played Florida, where Urban Meyer has been the coach, Florida State has lost by an average of nearly 21 points per game. But they've got a 10-point lead now, taking 2 turnovers, 1 on downs and a fumble by Rainey. The fake punt doesn't work. Rainey coughs it up. And Florida State jumping on top of the Gators, 17-7.
And how quick those decisions to go for those fake punts and trick plays can come back to bite you. And I know Urban Meyer has been under a lot of pressure this year and trying to jumpstart his team, but he may have hurt them.
They keep kicking it to Andre DeBose. This time DeBose can't make them pay, though. Barely gets out to the 20-yard line. And the Gators have now faked 9 punts this season. That was the first fake punt that didn't get them a first down. And after one play, it cost him a touchdown. Now it's Jeff Demps. Oh, did he get popped? Left his feet and was decleated by Nick Moody.
They are going to be hitting down there in a rivalry game. There was no question about that coming into this game, and you get a little bit of momentum on defense. Those guys start to feel like they're playing downhill against this Florida offense.
Draw play. Demps out to about the 24-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. And as Mark Stoops has come to Tallahassee, he has re-upped a lot of the pressure that they're able to put on the opponent. They go from 58th in the country to 2nd in sacks.
Yeah, and the points allowed is the big one, 94th to 15th. They're only giving up an average of 18 points a game this season. That has been the biggest difference. And he said, I had to get these guys' heads up. They were down on themselves. They needed confidence.
Gators only had 10 men on the field. Play clock down to 10. They ran Robert Clark out onto the field after they were already set at the line. They're out of timeouts. Play clock at 2. Just getting the snap off is Brantley. Slants one over the middle, incomplete. Threw it a mile behind Carl Moore.
Way too much confusion on offense for Florida. You got guys coming in late. You got the play clock running down. You don't know who's taking the snap from center. Don't know who's calling the audibles. This offense for Florida just looks like they are out of sync, and there's no leadership. And it gets back to you got to have that guy, that one guy that you know is going to take care of everything, and they are suffering right now.
They just get the punt away. Reed lets it bounce, and it takes a Gator hop inside the 30, down close to the 27-yard line. Ponder with a cutback. Brandon Hicks made the stop after a gain of 5.
Well, Now, if you're Florida State and specifically Christian Ponder, this game could not have got off to a better start. 2 turnovers by Florida and a missed fake punt gave you all the momentum that you need to get a good start. Now 17-7. Now you get into your offense. You settle down in a rivalry game, run your offense, make good decisions, and move the team.
Finding a cutback lane is Ty Jones. Out to about the 45-yard line.
And a great way to get that going is on the ground with Ty Jones. And the weakness of this Florida defense is up front in the offensive line for Florida State is the best part of their offense. Rodney Hudson, number 62, the left guard, clears the way for Ty Jones, and they come in averaging 184 yards on the ground. And
no gain on first down that time.
And between this offensive line, they have 171 career starts. And that's the strength. And they've protected Christian Ponder this year. And Hudson is the undisputed leader. He's making his 46th career start today on Senior Day. And he's one of the 3 finalists for the Outland Trophy, alongside Gabe Karimi and Solder from the University of Colorado. And there's no doubt he will be playing a lot of football on Sunday.
Jones motions out of the backfield. Instead, it's Lonnie Pryor. A couple of yards as Jelani Jenkins was there to make the stop. And a great barometer of success in wins and losses this season for the Noles has been their ability to run the football.
Well, and it complements what Christian Ponder can do. You don't want him to be back there throwing the ball on every down. And you see in their wins, they're averaging over 200 yards on the ground. And in those 3 losses, Oklahoma in there is North Carolina State and North Carolina. But those 2 games against North Carolina State were very close ball games. Only lost by 2 points to North Carolina and should have beaten NC State if they don't fumble on the last play.
Ponder, a first down catch made. To the 40-yard line goes Bo Relaford.
Just going to be an out route by Relaford. Comes up and gets some contact, and that's a smart play by Relaford. You can't push off because the official will see that, but if you lead with your shoulder and your head and get some contact.
Ponder on a slant. Rodney Smith has another first down. Ahmad Black was able to get to the sideline on his own power, so we'll see if he's able to return for Florida.
They're bringing pressure inside. The cross dog blitz. The linebackers come inside, and Christian Ponder stays composed in the pocket and delivers. And Rodney Smith is having a big ball game.
Now it's Ty Jones. Spun down after a gain of a couple to the 15 by Jonathan Bostic.
You know, we were talking about Pryor before, and I mentioned that Jimbo Fisher refers to him as a glue guy. He says he's the guy that helps keep my organization and my offense together. He's got that spirit about him, that leadership quality. Reminds him a lot of Edgar Bennett, the great halfback slash fullback that played for Florida State in the late 80s and then went on to play for the Green Bay Packers. A very unselfish player, the kind of guys that you need on offense.
Ponder floats it wide open, back left corner of the end zone, dropping it is Relaford. What a break for the Gators.
Florida State thought that they could get Bo Relaford matched up on the best corner for Florida is Jenkins, number 1, and they run a slant and go. That's called the sluggo. And Janoris Jenkins feeling confident that he could jump the route.
After the timeout, 3rd and 9 for Florida State. Ponder all day comes underneath to Easterling. Touchdown. Florida State with a commanding lead at halftime. Urban Meyer's team will have the ball to start the second half. It's time now for the halftime report. We'll come back shortly to Tallahassee. Back at Doak Campbell Stadium, set for the second half in our Dr. Pepper rivalry series. Florida State up 24-7 over Florida. Bob Wischusen and Brian Greasy with you here in Tallahassee. Philosophically, what changes for the Gators? They went with all three quarterbacks in the first half. Do they do the same in the second half, or down by this margin, do you have to change your way of thinking?
Well, they get the ball to start the second half, and I think Jordan Reed was their most productive quarterback in the first half. He had 10 rushes, 63 yards. I think he gives them the best opportunity to get back in this football game, and if they can score, this first drive, I think, for the Florida State defense will be their most important of this game to establish the second half dominance.
Returnable kick for Andre DeBose. Knocked down at about the 25-yard line by Mike Harris as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And the turnovers were a huge factor, obviously, and add into it not only 3 turnovers for Florida, but one of the touchdowns for Florida State came off of a turnover on downs when the Gators faked the punt and didn't get there.
And that's a turnover in my mind. And of the 6 drives that Florida offense had in the first half, 4 of them resulted in turnovers, and that's the difference in the game.
Jordan Reed. Gain of about 4. Everett Dawkins made the tackle for the Noles.
And to further, this discussion about the kind of style of offense that Florida can run in the second half, I think if they get Jordan Reed involved in this offense and commit to him at the quarterback position and get a drive put together here, they'd only be down by 10 points if they score a touchdown. Then they just run the regular offense.
Reed up the middle to about the 30-yard line, where Urban Meyer told us this past week that he has really come on, especially in the last few weeks. The Jordan Reed's accelerated growth has been phenomenal. I know you went back and watched tape of the last few Florida games. What did you see in Reed's play?
Well, he certainly has all the physical attributes, and now, he missed 22 of 24 practices in the fall. Didn't have an opportunity to learn the quarterback position. He's been doing it on the fly, starting to make better reads and being smart with the football.
On third down, though, it's back to Brantley. And he'll scramble and go down. Brandon Jenkins there to make the stop. That'll go as a sack. The 11th of the season for Brandon Jenkins.
And Brandon Jenkins is an effort player, one of the surprise players for this Florida State defense. He doesn't get to the quarterback on his first move, but perseveres and gets the sack. Mark Stoops was glowing about Jenkins on our conference call.
Fair catch immediately called for and made at the 29-yard line by Greg Reed. So play action on first down. Wide open up the sideline was Willie Halstead, but he stumbled coming out of his break. A huge cushion given to Halstead. Yeah, to talk about Christian Ponder, the thing that Jimbo Fisher mentioned to us, he said his toughness is unprecedented, that he's played with elbow injuries, broken ribs. In the North Carolina game, he played all the way through. They didn't even know he was hurt, and after the game, they took him back in the trainer's room and took 500 cc's of fluid out of his elbow. Thompson breaks a tackle, and he has a first down.
This offensive line starting to get their rhythm and starting to dictate, and Thompson has the speed to get away from Tratow, the defensive end, on the corner, number 94, and then he cuts it up. We were talking with him this week. He said, I think about first downs and touchdowns. I think on every single time I touch the football, I can gain 20 yards. And if I don't gain 20 yards, it's only because I'm running for a touchdown.
Back to Thompson again. 3 yards up the middle. Ahmad Black shaken up in the first half, starts the second half, makes the tackle.
This is the time in these kinds of games, in rivalry games, that offensive linemen love. This is the end of their regular season form. We're going against our arch rival. We've got them on the ropes. If we can put together a ground game here in this drive, we can do some damage and put this game away.
No gain on second down for Thompson, so a chance for the Gators to get off the field. Justin Tretteau made the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Jimbo Fisher was very aggressive with his play calling in the first half. Go routes, double moves, slant and goes. He was taking advantage of the opportunities that Florida gave him with some turnovers. It's critical that he doesn't lose that aggressiveness in the second half with his play calling and allows his senior quarterback to make some throws, because Florida certainly has the talent to come back.
3rd down and about 6.5. Play clock down to 4. Ponder gets the snap off, stumbles a bit. Wide open, a 1st down catch for Relaford.
It's a very similar play to what Relaford did earlier in the game. He's right here. He's just going to come up and run a simple out route. He's going to engage with Jelani Jenkins. The linebacker gets lost and then slips and falls down, and Relaford's wide open for a big conversion.
That's a tough matchup for Jelani Jenkins. To the sideline, Burt Reed. Lost it when he stepped out of bounds, but they will say that he had control inbounds. The catch is good for a gain of nearly 9, maybe 10 yards right at the 30-yard line. Looks to be a half yard shy of a 1st down.
And that's the aggressive play calling that you need. When you're up in these kinds of situations, Jimbo Fisher dials up the pass on 1st down, which puts you in a situation now on 2nd and short to continue this drive. And that's what you see from the teams that play offense like Oregon, that score a lot of points. Doesn't matter what the situation is, they're throwing the football.
Right up the middle, right at the 1st down marker, Lonnie Pryor is met. Omar Hunter was there to make the stop. Depends on the spot. Looks like he's a half yard shy. Florida State's going to hurry up before Florida can get set and go for it on 3rd down. And Pryor again was cut down. What a great job by that defensive front for the Gators. That time again it was Omar Hunter that came through. Now it's 4th down.
Jimbo Fisher realizes that this is a rivalry game, and this is an opportunity for me to send a message to my guys about how I want to establish our organization and our foundation and our team for the future.
They'll try to sneak it and get it on 4th down. Christian Ponder with the keeper, and he moves the chains.
And for Jimbo Fisher, it's about not leaving anything to chance. It's about controlling your own destiny in this game. And when you have 4th and inches with a veteran offensive line and a senior quarterback, you put your trust in your players. You develop them as best you can, and then you trust them to make plays on Saturday.
10th play of this drive for Florida State. Ponder hit as he throws, looking end zone. The catch made. Touchdown, Willie Halstead. To 7. You couldn't see this coming as Christian Ponder stands in, takes a shot, throws another touchdown. Since the start of the 2nd quarter, Christian Ponder is 9 of 11 with 3 touchdowns. When Florida has given Florida State opportunities, especially with the short field, the Noles have taken advantage, and that time it was just an impressive drive. Great mix of the run and pass, marched it right down the field. And now that ball goes out of bounds. They said it didn't sneak inside the pylon, so this will come out to the 40-yard line. What a scene it is here in Tallahassee. A lot of Gator fans making their way from Gainesville to see a great in-state rivalry game between Florida and Florida State, but it's been dominated by the Noles so far.
Jimbo Fisher continuing to be aggressive in his play call. He's going to throw the football. There is no running up to score in a rivalry game.
Chris Thompson up the middle for about a yard. How about the efficiency, though, of Christian Ponder? I mean, again, since the start of the second quarter, he's hitting on about 90% completion rate. He's thrown 3 touchdowns. It's the 13th time in his career that he's got a multiple touchdown game, and the 6th time this year.
Well, and when you can run the football and throw it and do both of those efficiently, you're going to have numbers like Christian Ponder has. And they haven't had as good a balance this season in the times that they've lost. And tonight they've put it all together, and they are playing their best football, no doubt, at the end of the year.
Design rollout. Again, right up against the sideline is Burt Reed. About 2 yards shy of a first down.
Drop back, play action. Now they decide to roll Christian Ponder out. The changeup allows the offensive line a little bit of break. Don't have to sit back there and protect. And this is not an easy throw. Rolling it away from your dominant arm, throwing to your left. It's hard to be accurate in that situation. He did a nice job of getting his shoulders back towards the line of scrimmage for an accurate ball.
Florida has to get a stop here on defense. 3rd down and a couple of yards. Ponder hit as he throws, incomplete. The blitz came from Janoris Jenkins, and Ponder just barely got it away. Now 4th down and about 2.
Yeah, Janoris Jenkins at the bottom of your screen is going to come hard off the edge, unblocked, and Ponder never saw him, and that's a vicious hit right there from Janoris Jenkins, who went high. Could have easily called that. That's a little bit of a frustration hit from Janoris Jenkins.
Sean Powell tries to angle the low line drive and does so down to the corner, and does well inside the 10-yard line. It goes out of bounds at the 5. Well, Florida State changes field position again. 35-yard punt. Rainey, another flag thrown from the secondary as he goes down inside the 3. Terrence Parks came up to make the stop.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist, number 81, offense. That penalty's decline. Brings up 2nd down.
Well, Brian Gracie, I guess you look at it one of 2 ways for the Gators. You have taken a huge step back, but it's such a great program. They have built a kingdom of sports between the basketball program and the football program at Gainesville. Maybe you can absorb a year like this.
Well, what's most surprising to me is kind of the lack of discipline and the lack of organization that you see from this football team, from offense to defense to special teams in all areas. It's not the style of play that we've come to expect, and the precision from an Urban Meyer coach team. And certainly there have been adversity, and there have been injuries, and there's been change, and you've lost players to the draft. But you still have more talent than 99% of the teams in the country anyway.
Brantley from the end zone on 3rd and 9. Comes underneath to Rainey, and he's got a first down. It looked like he went down by the face mask as well. Tough to tell. His head jerked back as if his face mask had been grabbed. No flag comes out. That's still a great 3rd down conversion, though, as Brantley finds Rainey on a crossing route.
Yeah, not a lot of room for Brantley to throw this ball, but an accurate throw, and give John Brantley credit for standing in there, continuing to fight. There is no quit in number 12 in white. And who knows, he may be thinking this is his last stand.
Again, an underneath pass to Rainey. Could you have expected Florida to not take a step back once Tim Tebow leaves?
Oh, certainly you expect some kind of drop-off, but this is more than a drop-off. This is kind of, they got hit in the stomach, and they're trying to catch their breath. And everybody that's been getting pounded by Florida over the last 5 years in Urban Meyer's coaching reign now is taking it out on them. There is no love lost for the Florida Gators.
Draw play to Demps. First down and more. Well, from third down and long inside their own 5-yard line, Florida puts together a couple of first downs out to the 35 as Jeff Demps picks up 11.
And just like that, John Brantley gets you out of a hole out to the 35-yard line with a couple of completions and a run, and now you take him out of the game, and in comes Trey Burton.
Three yards for Burton. It's been a physical front seven, and add in those safeties as well for Florida State as Terrence Parks came up and helped on the stop.
Well, and you see when they bring in Burton or they have Reed at the quarterback position, Florida State changes their defense completely. They decide to come with all of their players for the quarterback and not worry about throwing the ball at all.
Burton slipped and fell. Looked like he had an alley, and he is frustrated. Picks up 3 yards, but it could have been more. It'll be third down and 3. And Florida's not going to get the third down snap off before the clock ends the third quarter. So we'll step aside. Florida trying to mount some kind of comeback here in Tallahassee. They are loving it as we start the fourth quarter here at Doak Campbell. The Florida State Seminoles trying to break a 6-game losing streak head-to-head against Florida. Third down and a short 3, closer to 2. Quick handoff right up the middle, a first down for Rainey. And the Gators keep the drive alive as we start the fourth quarter. Is there any fight left in Florida? We believe so, but can they convert, get some points, and make it a game again?
Well, I think that play call there on 3rd and 3 to run the ball in a physical fashion told you there's no doubt if they didn't make it, they were going for it on 4th down.
Trap handoff, and Rainey down to about the 37-yard line, very close to another Gator first down.
And quite honestly, I'm surprised that we have seen this 3-headed quarterback consistently throughout this game for Florida. I thought coming into this game that Urban Meyer would stick with Trey Burton and with Jordan Reed in this football game and try to run the zone read almost exclusively. But I think the reason why we've seen more of John Brantley is because they're behind 31-7 in this ballgame.
Took a while for the officials to set the ball ready for play, so they reset the play clock, 2nd down and 1. And now it's Burton lining up at quarterback. Burton counters the opposite way. First down to the 30-yard line. All right, Robert, it keeps getting better for the Noles. Up the middle goes Burton. Down to about the 25-yard line. A gain of 5 more. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter.
You know, my question is, if Florida State continues to dominate this football game, does Jimbo Fisher allow them to put the score of the NC State-Maryland game up on this Jumbotron to get the reaction and let his team know what's going on in the potential ACC championship race? I don't know. I think I'd put it up there.
I think he might put it up there if you're up 31-7 with 5 minutes to go and that game goes final. Maybe not before then, though. And off to Demps. Down to the 16-yard line. Again, this announcement was made to the crowd pregame at the coach's request, meaning Jimbo Fisher. We want no distractions. They will not be showing the score of the NC State game. Now, if NC State, as you heard Robert Flores tell you, wins that game, then the Noles are knocked out of the ACC championship game. But if Maryland beats NC State, then Florida State is in, and they have a chance to go to the BCS. Demps inside the 15-yard line. Well, the way that Florida is running their offense right now, even if they run it flawlessly, it's going to eat so much time off the clock that I don't know that a comeback's possible. At some point, you have to try to get yardage in chunks down 31-7.
Well, the only way they get yardage in chunks is by Chris Rainey or Jeff Demps breaking a run. And they don't have any passing game to speak of. They don't have a quarterback that's confident in throwing it, and they don't have wide receivers that have proven they can catch it. So this is their offense.
Burton flags down. Boy, he fought hard. Lost the football. Picked up, and they will rule him down by contact. It's going to be holding against Florida. That was the 17th play of this drive. There has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. And Brian Gracie, we found it while we were away, and it is a Florida fumble and a Noles recovery.
Yeah, clearly that ball was out before his knee was down, and the ball was recovered immediately by Florida State. Florida State ball on the 12-yard line.
So there's your indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. The clear recovery as well. And it is a turnover. Another giveaway by the Florida offense. And off to Chris Thompson. Up the middle out to about the 14-yard line. And, of course, Ohio State lopsided today over Michigan. And now some pushing and shoving after the whistle. And a quarterback change for Florida State. Christian Ponder got a bit of a curtain call. E.J. Manuel, the sophomore, MVP of the Gator Bowl last year. He is 4-1 as a starter, and he takes over for Christian Ponder.
Yeah, and a redshirt sophomore. He's got good size. He's 6'4", 234 pounds, and throws the ball very well. Jimbo Fisher is excited about the future with E.J. Manuel at Florida State.
Thompson back out to about the 12. Lost a couple of yards.
Emmanuel's got some playing time this year with the injuries, the cumulative effect of the injuries to Christian Ponder with his elbow and his shoulder. And last year when Ponder went out after the 9th game, Emmanuel got some valuable experience. There's no substitute for that. And Jimbo Fisher thinks that E.J. Manuel certainly will take over for Christian Ponder and may be able to expand this offense to include a little bit more of a mobility standpoint that he can filter in.
Manuel tries to do it himself, and he's got a first down.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, the mobility. Emmanuel's, like we said, a big guy, 6'4", 234 pounds. He's not easy to bring down. And I tell you, the quarterbacks are getting bigger and faster every year I've been out of the league. It's like, I don't recognize these quarterbacks. Used to be when you go into a locker room, you could identify the quarterback because he was one of the smaller guys. Now, quarterbacks look like defensive ends. It's confusing to me.
Manuel again pounds his way out to about the 30-yard line for a gain of 9 as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Turnovers, the biggest factor, certainly for Florida. 3 fumbles, an interception. They turn it over on downs when they fail in a fake punt attempt. John Brantley, part of a 3-headed quarterback rotation, none particularly effective, but Christian Ponder on the other side, 3 touchdowns. And what a way to go out as a senior.
What a way to go out as a senior class, and what an exclamation point that you put on your regular season if you're Jimbo Fisher in your first year taking over for Bobby Bowden. That is impressive. Because you go back and you look at it, they could have easily beaten North Carolina. They had a chance at the end of the game. They lose 37-35. They miss a 40-yard field goal at the end of that game. Could have very easily beaten NC State. They had a chance of fullback wide open in the end zone to win that game, and Christian puts the ball out a little bit too far and fumbles the ball. They lose that game. They could very easily be 11-1 after the end of this game, and we're talking about them in the BCS hunt.
Another first down for Florida State as E.J. Manuel in a quarterback draw moves the chains.
And all that being said, I think maybe the biggest ramification of this win and the way that this win is coming about for Jimbo Fisher is the recruiting battle in the state of Florida. I was out on the field before the game. They had over 100 recruits on the field before the game. Each one of them watching this impressive win by Florida State. And make no bones about it, the recruiting war between Florida and Florida State in this state is fierce.
Thompson up the middle. But you wonder if someone sneaks down to Jimbo Fisher at some point and says, you know, by the way, you got a 2-touchdown lead going on right now between the Terps and the Wolfpack. Do you think we might sneak that up on the screen while we're running out the clock?
This place would erupt.
Good job by Manuel to take the play clock all the way down. Lowers his shoulder and gets to about the 40-yard line, 6 yards shy of a first down. Well, if that score does indeed hold and Florida State does indeed make it to the ACC championship game, they'll be the team taking on Virginia Tech, 7:45 Eastern next Saturday night on ESPN. It would be either Virginia Tech or perhaps Florida State, unless NC State pulls off a miracle 2-touchdown comeback in the fourth quarter against Maryland. Jimbo Fisher in his first year replacing Bobby Bowden, about to put together the first 9-win regular season for Florida State since 2003. That was the last year that they beat Florida. Could you imagine if he also took them to a BCS game? Now it'll be fourth down for the Noles, so they'll kick it away with a little over 2 minutes to go.
Well, I think Jimbo Fisher has done it in a way that's been very respectful of the past, very classy, but also looking to the future. And he has brought a lot of innovation and a lot of attention to detail. And the process with which they develop players is his focus. And that, to me, has been the biggest difference between Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher.
A shank punt out of bounds by Sean Powell will give the football to Florida with 1:26 remaining, and it looks like we have a flag down as well. Flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, roughing the snapper, number 22, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, a little more salt in the wound, as if it's possible for the wound to get bigger for the Gators. They rough the kicker. It's a personal foul, and now Florida State can simply take a knee. E.J. Manuel gives to Thompson. Up the middle. And unless Florida opts to use their timeouts, I can't imagine they would. At this point, Florida State can simply take a knee.
I think you got to go back, Bob, to the second game of the season when they went out to Oklahoma and they lost 47-17. And after that game, Jimbo Fisher said, I don't want to forget this feeling. I want my players to remember it. I want them to learn from it. It's something that we can build on and be productive if we use it in the right way. And this season has really turned on that game. Well,
there it is. Florida State gets to celebrate. For the first time since 2003, the largest margin of victory for Florida State since 1988. And for the first time ever as the head coach of the Florida Gators, Urban Meyer loses to the Seminoles.
It was a 3-year wait for Jimbo Fisher to take over for Bobby Bowden. Now he has an opportunity to continue with the momentum that he's built in this program. Big win.
Well, what a way to go out, at least at the end of the regular season for Christian Ponder. As Urban Meyer and the Gators leave, the fireworks go off. Not only do they love the score here at Doak Campbell, but they're going to love the score as they continue to hear it develop between NC State and Maryland. They're midway through the fourth quarter now, and Maryland continues to hold on to the 14-point lead.
Well, I think you put the Maryland-NC State game up on the Jumbotron and just keep the party going here at Doak Campbell.
So once again, our final score, 31-7. Florida State wins the rivalry game over Florida. For Brian Greasy and our entire crew, I'm Bob Wischusen. We say so long from Doak Campbell Stadium here in Tallahassee. Stay tuned for the post-game report after this word from our stations.